Hi, this is Brian with redband.com, and we are actually looking at my website right now at the old Sony DSC-TX7 review. If you ever read this review, you would notice that I liked it a lot. There was some features that I thought was weird was missing, and some things that weren't so hot, but overall I thought it was a great camera. But one of the things I did say is if you could hold off, wait. And I had a list of cons, things that I just wish they would have fixed, including the mono microphone, how it has this 3-inch screen instead of the previous T500 and T900's 3.5-inch screen. I also wish that saw that the amazing low light quality didn't seem to work so well in the video mode, and there was actually no video mode button. I also said the zoom buttons seemed kind of awkward. Now we go here and we have the brand new TX7 released about 4 or 5 months later, and I'm happy to say almost everything has been fixed. If you checked out my review, at the end of my review of the TX1, I even said this. Let's turn this up and listen real quick. This is from my YouTube review. I would wait for Sony to release a new camera, which I have a feeling they're going to release one that has a stereo mic, has a bigger screen, and I bet they were even going to throw 1080p 30 frames a second in there. How did I know that? I didn't. It was just a very good guess, I guess. But let's see what they did do. Now, when I said I bet that they were going to throw in 1080p 30 frames a second, I had no idea that they were going to throw in 1080 60 frames per second. Yes, you heard me right, 60 frames per second on a small digital camera. 60 frames per second is almost unheard of in regular camcorders, but this little digital camera has the ability to do that. Let's go through the features real quick. It has a sliding down door like the previous incarnations of this. It also returns the stereo mic, which I said I wish would return. It's got a 4x optical zoom made by Carl Zeiss. It's got the Exmor R sensor in it, which has amazing low light abilities. On the back of it, on the TX1, there used to be 2 buttons right here for zooming in and out, and that was one of the things I had said that I wish that the old rocker style would return of the 500. See, the T500 had a rocker to zoom in and out, and while I didn't think that was the best rocker, I thought it was way better than having to try to push 2 buttons on the TX1 back and forth. Well, believe it or not, they actually brought back a rocker, and it's better than the T500. It's on the side. It's almost unnoticeable, but it's so much better than the TX1's buttons on the top, and even better than the old T500, which would always snag on your pocket jean, and I always thought this was going to break off. So that's another thing that they fixed that I was amazed about. Also, I also said that there was no actual physical button to go into movie mode on the TX1. And look what's right here. The movie mode button's back. How crazy is that? The 3.5-inch screen has returned. That's another thing. I mean, pretty much, if you look at my old review at redband.com of the TX1, almost everything has been fixed. The only thing that they didn't fix was the 4x optical zoom. And that's something I'm guessing that they're just never going to go back to the 5x optical zoom of the DST-500. But everything else fixed. And the low light quality of the video mode is greatly improved over the TX1, which is very weird since they both use, I thought, the same Exmor R processor. So it makes me wonder if they did some kind of software revisions to take advantage of the sensor a little bit better, because I've noticed in my testings the video quality in low light situations is a lot better than the TX1. So let's go through this camera. What does it have, what doesn't it have, and so on. Well, let me tell you first, and this is no honest, it is really hard. I mean, this is honest. It's really hard to find stuff wrong with this camera. Like, I mean, I'm really stretching when I say that there's anything wrong with the camera. It has one of the best automatic modes ever. And what I mean is, let's go see, it's really, it has a thing called intelligent auto adjustment. And it's just like a regular auto mode where you hold down a button and it automatically detects what I'm shooting. As an example, if I try to take a picture of here, it will automatically detect what it is and do it. But say like if I want to take a picture of my finger, watch the macro button. See, it says close focus. Now if I get closer, watch what it says. It's in macro mode now. It automatically went to macro mode. I also noticed if I try to take a picture of something close and like setting it down on something, it will bring up macro mode on tripod, meaning it detected that I have it set in a solid position that's not moving, so it knew it was like it's on a tripod. I mean, this camera is intelligent. It's pretty remarkable how accurate and fast that this camera is. The colors and the whites and everything about the photos that I took in my test were great. I was so happy and surprised at how good the quality of the photos have been on this camera. Now, the insane amount of movie modes that this thing has is insane. Not only does it have 720p 30 frames per second, 1080p 30 frames per second, it also has 1080i 60 frames per second. Now the only problem with the 60 frames per second modes, there's two of them. One's bigger than the other, but they're both 1080i. Both of those modes film in a weird format called AVCHD. If you guys know anything about that format, especially for Mac computers, it is a pain in the butt. It is just not an easy format to film, to record, to edit, to transfer to your computer, to upload, to anything. I tried to do a sample video that was only 1.5 minutes long, and it was such a pain in the butt to try to get it into a YouTube format that I just decided not to even bother. But trust me, it looks great. And it would be really great if you just wanted to burn that straight to a DVD, or if you're on a PC, burn it to a Blu-ray. And that comes to another thing. The software that it comes in with this camera is only PC only. Of course, I usually never use the software that comes with anything. It's just some basic photo software that's not a big loss, trust me. Now, as you saw in my unboxing video, this comes with a dock. This comes with a power charger that you put a battery in, and it does have a new battery, which is kind of a bummer because I have so many of the old batteries. But one thing that I noticed with this new battery, since it's so much smaller, it doesn't feel as cramped as the TX1 did. The TX1 had a really cramped battery and memory, like it was really hard to get the memory card in and out of it. And this new battery actually helps how cramped that used to be, and somehow maintains a lighter and I believe slimmer camera than the TX1. This is actually very light and very slim, especially compared to the T500. It's hard to tell in this video, but trust me, it's a lot lighter and a lot skinnier. So it's a great camera to put in your pocket. Now the stereo mic returns, as I said, and the zoom rocker is a lot better. It also is one of the first cameras that Sony has released that now allows you to either use a memory card Pro, or you can put an SD card in there. So you can either put an SD card in there or a Memory Stick Pro Duo in there. So that's a nice welcome, since SD cards tend to be a lot cheaper.